Yeah, Dan Lance from Chandler, Arizona, down here at Copperstate Air Show. And I have my Challenger 2 long wing with floats. I'm a Coast Guard veteran, so when I built the airplane, I decided to decorate it in that manner with the Coast Guard markings on it. And doing so made it pretty popular. A lot of people like to take photos of it. We worked hard on getting the exact decals made up, and it worked out pretty good. I started building the plane in about 2007 with a local dealer at Glendale Airport here in Arizona in Phoenix. And it was a dealer assist program because I wanted to get it built properly. And he helped me do all of the instrumentation and a lot of the fabric and painting and things like that. It's got a 503 Rotex engine on it, about 52 horsepower. Obviously the floats slow it down a little, but I flew it over this morning from Coolidge, about 17 miles to the east. I was getting about 64 miles an hour ground speed, so it's pretty good with the floats. 64 miles an hour is pretty good, so you're not going to go too far. Yeah, I have a basic instrument panel here, just flying VFR, so I don't need anything really in depth. I've got all of the basic instruments for the engine, EGT, CHT, RPM, airspeed indicator, and I also have a little portable air map GPS for navigation. And then I have an A6 ICOM radio all wired into intercom and two place headsets. I've got the real nice seats. There's a Canadian firm that makes the nice seats for the Challenger. These go about $800, but they're really comfortable. And then I did some interior work here with some pockets that we put in here. One of them has kind of come loose here, but that's what it looks like here. Kind of the same material for some charts and things like that. What else? So we did some modifications for the floats. There is a locking plate on the floats, and you release that locking plate and lift the wheels up when you land on water. So we did a real nice modification for that, and then also for the nose wheel, to pull the nose wheel up. So everything is right there in front for me, and easy to fly after you get a little bit used to it. You know, I used to fly Cessnas, and this thing here, you really have to take it right down to the ground. You know, you can't really flare it 4 or 5 feet like you do in a Cessna because it'll stall real quick. So you just fly it down to the runway and just bleed it off and just kind of slide it in there, you know, and it really slides in kind of nice. Yeah, this is a locking plate release for the floats. That locks the wheels down, and it also locks them up. So I just pull that back, and then I pull the wheels up with this handle here, and then I push that back in and lock the wheels in the up position when I'm landing on water. This is for the nose wheel here. We've got to put in a cross piece here, a real solid cross piece. So actually I can really demonstrate that now. I'll just pull the nose wheel up and I lock it in like that, and the nose wheel is up. And then to release it, you just release the carabiner and let it go down, and it locks in place. Okay, this is for the water rudder. When I land on the water, I just really release that halyard clip, let her go, and the water rudder goes down and can steer the airplane on the water. And then before I take off, I lift it up, lift the water rudder up, and just hook it in, and it's up out of the way.
Well, folks, here we are with the United States Army, and it's a privilege and honor to be standing here with Sergeant Bash of the United States Army talking about this most beautiful helicopter, the Apache helicopter. First, I want to say, Sergeant, thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to get to do what I do.
Well, absolutely, sir. And what you're sitting on and what we're standing in front of, ladies and gentlemen, is a piece of fine machinery here to keep our American country and all of us free. As we know, freedom's not free, but take it from there, Sergeant. Tell us about this helicopter, what you do in the United States Army, and talk a little bit about what this helicopter does in the battlefield.
Okay, roger that. What we're sitting on is the AH-64 Delta Longbow Apache helicopter. It's an attack helicopter. We use it to support troops on the ground. We use it to escort convoys, varied missions around the world that this is taking part in and will continue to take part in. It's a two-seat aircraft. As you can see, the pilot's in the back. Excuse me, the man in the front is we call him the CPG, the co-pilot gunner. And he's responsible for all the weapon systems. Behind you can see on the far wing the rockets, inside is the Hellfire missiles, and then down below us is the 30mm chain gun that we also carry.
Amazing. A lot of armament in the air.
It does carry a little bit, yes sir.
A little bit of history on it. I mean, this aircraft, this helicopter, manufactured what, in the 1980s or before that?
They started field testing in the early 80s and then fielding 2 Army units in the early 80s as well. They're built right down the road here in Mesa, Arizona. A lot of parts on this helicopter are homegrown here in Arizona. The seats are made in north of Phoenix. Many parts that are actually made by Arizona suppliers. So it's really cool that not only is it made here, but we're providing jobs for many other people supplying parts for us.
Absolutely, and people need to know that the state of Arizona contributes so much, as the sergeant's telling us, to America's defense and keeping us all free. You know, we've all heard about the Russian Mi-24 Hind helicopter, and we're always told that that's one of those amazing gunships. Describe and compare the two from what you can tell us. I mean, I consider it to be no match. I think the Apache 10-1.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, Hind's big, and it's kind of creepy looking, but ABCs, this takes the cake. We can do everything superior to that. We've got in the front our TADS, Target Acquisition and Designation System, hands down best in the world. Nobody can compete with that. We own the night with this, and the Hind is just kind of taking up a big bunch of sky.
I love the way you say it. But folks, an even more incredible treat is about to happen right here on airshowvid.com. Sergeant Bash is going to take us on a personal tour of the Apache Longbow helicopter. And again, Sergeant, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Dr. Sky. The Apache is the only helicopter in the Army inventory with an air conditioning system in it. So you have 4 vents. These 2 in the back. You have 1 up on the left side of the MPD, and then 1 up on the top side of the UFD. Up here on the right, you can't see it right now. But yeah, this is the only air-conditioned aircraft in the Army's inventory. So the front seat is pretty much set up the same as the back seat. You still have your air conditioning vents up here. I didn't show you these in the back seat. Back seat also has them. There's 1 on each side of the seat for each station. And what these do, these match up with sensors in the helmet. So when the co-pilot or the pilot turns their head, the weapon system's in the front, and our sensor system the weapon system underneath and the sensor system up front slew with the pilots and co-pilots as they move their head. And this is what picks up those movements. Air conditioning in the front. The pilot's flight controls are always in the up position. The co-pilot's flight controls are out of the way normally. But if the co-pilot has to take over, what he does, hits a button, and his stick then comes up so he can use it. Other than that, he's using these, just like a video game. He's cycling through rockets, missiles, guns, sighting through here. This is his targeting sight, and engages the weapons at the enemy positions through there. When he's done, pushes the button, it goes right back out of the way. So this is the number 1 side of the aircraft, okay. And everything is mirrored. There's a redundant system on this aircraft for everything that we have. This is an ELC electrical load center. We have a load center here. We have a load center of fuses behind the pilot's seat as well. So every one of these boxes has a mirror on the other side. They're either in the EFAB on the other side, or they're behind other shells but still on the other side. No system has both boxes on one side of the aircraft, and that's for obvious reasons. If you lose one system to gunfire or accident or whatever, then the other system will take over. And everything can be selected. We have what's called a system processor, which this box here controls everything. It is the system processor. It's matched on the other side, and in the front seat there's actually a switch where we can go automatic, where the aircraft designates which one will be primary, or we can hand select in manual which processor we want to be primary on the aircraft. 30mm gun system, chain gun. Goes down, left, right. Again, this could be slewed to the pilot or co-pilot's helmet, whichever one is in control of the aircraft. They move their head left and right, the gun will traverse as follows. It's got 89-degree limits, can only go to 89 degrees to one side or the other. It can go up to this limit when in stow. It can go down quite a ways to engage the target on the ground. Bullets come down through this system, through this flex chute, into the gun. Electric motor runs it. It's actually fired by electricity. It's not a firing pin. It's electrically fired, what makes it pretty amazing. And it's fast. It's 625 rounds a minute, plus or minus 25. So the front of the aircraft, this is what the Apache is primarily known for. This is what lets us own the night, pretty much everywhere else. All weather, can see through clouds, can see through fog, can see through everything. This is the TADS bucket, Targeting Acquisition and Data Designation System. It's got a day and night sight to it. This is the PINVIS, it's called the Pilot's Night Vision System. It's basically the same thing. The pilot is attached to, when he's got his monocle on, he's using through here. The co-pilot gunner uses this, and depending on if he's targeting in the day or the night, then that depends on which one he's going to be using. But the newest system, this isn't the newest. We have an upgraded system, which is far and away better than called the legacy system that came with the aircraft originally. Gives us much better ability to see at greater distances, much clearer, and through all kinds of weather, fog, like I said, rain, clouds, starry night, no star night. It's pretty amazing. Look online, you can find many examples of the updated TAD system in action.
Well, here I am in the pilot's seat of the Apache helicopter, and more important than that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Sergeant Bash of the United States Army for giving us this most amazing tour of America's fighting helicopter, the Apache. Sergeant, thank you so much, and thank you for your service to our country.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you.